Hey guys, it is John C. Morley here, Sir Entrepreneur. It has been amazing to be with you again on another evening. This is IFYL, Inspirations for Your Life. And just to let you guys know, I know we get a lot of people, we get a couple hundred people every week that want to be a guest on the show. So it's not that I want to turn people down, it's that I want people that are going to fit in with the message of the show. And just coming on here to talk about a product or service you offer, not going to cut it. Sorry about that. Anyway, IFYL, if you're new, grab your phone, please launch that app, point over to the QR code, touch that QR code, and bam, you'll get my Linktree page. Check out John's Daily National Day video, of course, JCM Academy TikTok, John the Science Guy, and there's so much other stuff you want to check out. So definitely go ahead and do that. All right. And you know how we start? We start on a Saturday, we roll all the way through the week, and we finish on a Friday. For those of you that have been watching me for so long, hey, thanks so much from the bottom of my heart. Friends, colleagues, and associates, it means so much to me that you're here supporting me and soaking up all this great Kool-Aid and making it a part of your life. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you. All right. Everybody ready for the master topic? Here we are. What is AVK? AVK. What the heck is AVK, John? Well, AVK is auditory, visual, and kinesthetic. Now, thinking about these three letters, I want to talk tonight about something called a language pattern. What the heck's he talking about? All right. So the example that I used with a friend of mine, actually, I had another show and we talked about it tonight on Double Impact, which is another show that I have. I'm host with Hurricane H, which is a brand new show we started just a few months ago. So I have that. I have IFYL. And of course, I have J More Tech Talk, which you guys all know very, very well, my flagship show that's been around for so long. When we think about, let's say, buying a car, all right, first thing I want to ask you can ask your friend, is what was it that made you want to buy that first car? Was it something you heard? Was it something you saw? Or just something you felt? And so I'm going to use someone else's pattern. I'm not going to use my own. And the person said to me, John, when I had a chance to look at the numbers on the paper, something you saw, bing, got that. Great. So after that, what was the next thing that made you want to commit to just saying this car is the right car? I felt comfortable with it, and I knew it was going to be a good choice for my family. Great. And after that, what was the last thing that made you just want to buy that car? I think it was when I heard the engine. Great. Greg, so I know that you've probably been looking for a car for a long time. And I'm sure you can definitely agree with me that this one definitely paints a nice picture in your driveway or even in our showroom, right? But I think what's really important is that this car has won safety records 10 years in a row. And I know that when you're buckled in and your family's in that car, the priceless connection you're going to get, that you're driving in a vehicle that's going to protect your family and be comfortable and luxurious as well, it's definitely going to make sense. But I think what's really going to make the most sense to you is when you hear the engine, or when you hear how quiet it runs, or when you hear the sound of the alarm chirping. So it's important to not use the same words or the same thing they're doing. You want to use the same modality. So my modality in that made up situation was see, okay? Then something I felt. So visual, kinesthetic, auditory. Visual, kinesthetic, auditory. Visual. I'm just going to put this up here on the grid so you guys can see it. So it was visual, kinesthetic, auditory. Okay? If you take a look there, you're going to see VKA, right? That was my made up pattern, right? And so when you know what somebody's modality is and what their buying strategy, you can unlock it. The trick is you can't use it in the same way because people catch on to it. But you have to take the time to survey somebody. See, most people are just wanting to get that deal like so quickly. So VKA, let's say what if that was mine, that would have unlocked my buying potential, and that would have made me want to purchase the car, right? I think that's probably important to a lot of people, but I know that a lot of salespeople, they want the deal. They don't care about what's going on today. They just want that deal, right? They want that deal. And so if they want that deal, what do you think is going to make them do it? Well, you can't just say, "Hey, what made you?" But you have to kind of soften it a little bit, right? And you have to really take the time. Maybe you'll take some notes. You can say, "Hey, I want to make sure I understand everything correctly. Would it be okay if I take a few notes?" Yeah, sure, no problem. It'll be fine. And so getting permission, that they love that. I said, "Would it be okay if I take a few notes? I just want to make sure I'm understanding everything correctly." And so when you take the time to get to know someone and their buying strategies, you're doing it from a sincerity because you're getting them into that car because of things that mean things to them, right? Right? When will that be? It's going to be when it's right for you, right? Make sense to you guys? When it's right for you, you are actually going to do it. And so you might be saying to me, "John, this sounds a little crazy." But you know what? It's not actually crazy. It's not crazy at all. It is the truth. It's getting to know people. Okay. It's getting to know people. And when you get to know people, that's when it makes a difference in your life, right? That's when, like we say, the magic happens. So, understanding my buying strategy in this fictitious environment, which was the visual, kinesthetic, auditory, VKA. So, someone that takes time to learn your values and what clicks for you. Now, this isn't just for cars. You can do it for relationships. You can do it for almost everything in life. You have let's call it a magic code that can be used to unlock and make you feel comfortable to make the decision to buy. You see, the catch though is you can't just do it and expect people to just jump in if you're not sincere. So you have to take the time. So most people that do this, they're going to want to spend the time to get to know. So you can't do this fast. If you did it fast, the other person's going to be like, "Oh, I know what you're up to." It takes some time to figure out what it is that made people interested in that car or made people want to take this step. Our brain, our body is driven by emotions. Now, emotions can be triggered by sounds, by things we see, by things we feel. And so when we adopt the right language, I'll call it a language pattern, if you will, when we adopt the right language pattern, it's like we have the right key to open the lock. Have you ever gone to a lock and you're like, "Oh, geez, what key was that?" I mean, all these locks are so similar, and you try, and you're like going through all your keys, and you're like, "Oh, which key is it? Which key is it?" Right? Maybe a new house, and you're not really sure which is the key because you haven't really put it on your key ring yet, and you're trying to go through all of them. And so when you understand how the right key opens the lock, then I think you'll understand how this visual, auditory, or visual, kinesthetic, and auditory, VKA in this condition, unlocked the lock in your brain to say, I'll take it. Most times the salespeople fail because they're trying to get someone to do something for a reason that does not agree with the buyer. Like maybe it's the color of something, and you might say, gee, maybe it doesn't make sense, right? If that makes sense, then I think you will understand that it's a dance. And this is why a lot of times car people get thrown under the bus when they're trying to be, selling you something. They're out to make a quick sale, but they're not out to do what they need to help you. Why? It's simple. They just don't get it. They don't get that we need to become interested in other people. Dale Carnegie said it the best, right? The two most important things in life are to get to know people's name and say the name correctly for crying out loud, and then become genuinely interested in the other person. If you knew that there was a specific combination to unlock someone's brain to do something, you probably do it all the time. It takes time. The other catch is don't do it unethically. If you do it unethically, it will backfire and bite you in the rear, because this is meant for the good of all concerned. But when you use it to exploit the person, you might win that time, but you'll ruin your chance of ever having trust with them in the future. This is why car salespeople constantly keep quitting and getting other jobs, because they're just about tomorrow. They're not really about today anymore. Pretty wild, right? So we're going to be talking more about AVK, okay, and auditory, visual, and kinesthetic. But in this case, my language pattern was V, right? K, A. Visual, the numbers I saw on the paper. Kinesthetic, the sense I felt of safety. The auditory, the purr of the engine sound. Now, the most important thing is that when you replay this pattern, you don't use the same words. You just use the same types of words. So when it was the something I saw, I would say, gee, this car sure paints a great picture in your drive. You can already see this car paints a great picture in your driveway. I know this car is going to paint a great new picture to your driveway. And I think that makes a difference, ladies and gentlemen. And then I know that you're just going to have a sense of peace. And lastly, I know that you're going to just love the way the radio sounds or the XM sounds when you're driving on that highway. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It's been a privilege, been a pleasure, been an honor to be with you this amazing evening. I hope you'll like, love, and support the channel. Definitely tag your friends, colleagues, and associates. Hey, and remember to comment below. And then, of course, ladies and gentlemen, please go to my YouTube channel, John Space C Space MORLEY Space Serial Entrepreneur, and look for that key phrase to help keep our content free. Make the choice, ladies and gentlemen, to buy my team and I a savory cup of coffee, a hot chocolate, or maybe even a refreshing piece of cake. Either way, we'll be grateful for those pennies and dollars. We'll invest into new hardware, new technology, new equipment, new software, even new facilities to give you the most jaw-dropping, empowered content to fuel your life if you want to make a change. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care, everyone.